Hello, this is Data Sources 1. I'm Ryan Womack, Data Librarian at Rutgers University Libraries. This session is part of our Data Topics series, and it is one that has no R code or technical content about statistical analysis. This is a general overview, a guide to finding resources, things to think about, and some places to start. Data Sources 1 deals with United States data sources, and Data Sources 2, when it is released, will cover international data sources. I'm going to flash up on the screen here the URLs that are involved. These will also be pasted in the link below. But once you navigate to the first page here, you will see what I've got up on my screen, this Data Sources 1. And I'll talk about these other overview guides in just a second. All right, so I'm going to close that one out. Let me talk a little bit about the format of these pages before we start walking through them. This page, if you again navigate to that from the link below in the description, you will get this landing page that has, over on the right under this other formats, has some alternative methods of getting the content. You can click and get a PDF version of this content. You can click and get a Word version. There is the Quarto file, the Markdown tool that's used in RStudio that I use to generate this content. That's available to you as well. That's often useful for cases where there's R code. For this session, I don't know that there's any advantage to using the Quarto unless you're just curious about that. And finally, you can toggle back and forth between light and dark mode. And I'm a person, I generally prefer the dark mode. So for this session, I am going to click on the dark mode, and we will go through the session in dark mode. All this content is equivalent. And on the top right, you have a navigation table of contents that can kind of jump you around to these sections. So that's how what we're going to walk through works. I'll just give a tiny bit of background for the series as a whole. So there are two places you can go to get the full series information. One is this link, which is through the Rutgers University LibGuides. This collects the material on the various components of the Data Topics Workshop series. Once you click on one, like Data Sources, you will get the links to the specific pages that we're walking through, and uploaded versions of the Screencast, which I'm recording right now, in April 2025. You'll also get links to the other data resources related to this. There's links to Python and R and the workshop schedule, so that's worth taking a look at. There's also a contact box that if you would like to check with me about anything, you can contact me there. The second place to go is simply my homepage, my personal homepage, ryanwomack.com. It's easier for me to originate material here and kind of keep control of the archive here. So if you go to Data Topics, you will get the same content, just in a kind of a cleaner overview. And when you click on Data Sources here, you will get that web page that we started the session with. So that's my navigation overview, and I will talk just briefly about what to expect. And I'm going to break this video series into the 6 parts. I think I might, let me do that. I'll stick with these 6 parts and have each of them a separate segment, no matter the varying length involved. So let's just start reflecting about data a bit. So just by saying that word, data is an enormous world of information. We think about, often data is used as any kind of material that might feed into your research. Anything that you're curious about, in a sense, can be viewed as data. Raw archival records, medieval manuscripts, video collections of satellite imagery, all kinds of things. Just to narrow that down a bit, I am primarily focused on numeric data, primarily social science data. We'll talk a little bit about other things, as a kind of core of when we want to analyze something and get a meaningful extract that can handle large populations, right? We can collect qualitative data, we can talk about people's stories, but when we are analyzing large populations, we look to numeric data as a way of summarizing and extracting information that otherwise we wouldn't be able to study at scale. Even saying that, there are, thousands upon thousands, millions of data sources, and finding the right match for your own research is a unique, individualized process. It's complex, but in order to think about how to do that, it's good to know the basics, and good to know some of the major sources that meet a lot of needs, recognizing that they don't meet all the needs. So I'm trying to give you an overview that will put you on a path to discovering the data that's useful for your research and give you some of those pointers. And so secondly, the scope, I mentioned this briefly already, but we're centered in the social sciences. We're talking in this sequence about United States data, sources from the federal government, from state governments. We're going to use New Jersey as an example since I'm at Rutgers, but you can think about the same things applying to other states in the United States. We're going to talk about commercial subscription paid databases with examples that are available at Rutgers. We're going to talk about nonprofits who collect data, and a subsequent session, the Data Sources 2 session, is going to focus on international. Originally, when I was thinking about these workshops, I thought I might split it differently in terms of government versus non-governmental sources for both U.S. and international, but I realized it's better to try to put things together. Certainly, I hope that this will be of interest to many users, but at Rutgers, U.S. data interests predominate, and so therefore we're releasing this one first. All right, I think that's enough of an overview. I will stop the video, and number 2 in the playlist, we'll talk about the process of searching for data.